garden is a natural garden, meaning it's Mother Nature's garden. And it's this like circular meadow area that's surrounded by these beautiful rock formations. And the flowers that are in this garden are wildflowers, like honeysuckle and columbines and little purple violets. And there's mountains around. On one side of me, there's a small lake, and these rock formations kind of extend around me. And I can see little birds, lots of hummingbirds, and little rabbits around this garden space I'm in. It's all covered with grass where I'm sitting, kind of enclosed in this area.
And what are you doing there? Did you come there with a specific purpose?
It's a special place for me because it's a place where I used to go to with my twin in another lifetime, and I used to meet him there. So I just like to go there and feel the energy there and connect with the past a little bit. But it's also just very beautiful and makes me feel comfortable and at home. It's a very sacred area too, because of the beautiful rock formations that are around it.
Is there anyone else around you right now?
No, just the animals.
Very nice. Tell me more about this lifetime with your twin, where both of you used to come to this special place that meant a lot for both of you.
And so it was on the property where my parents lived, where we had a house. We had a lot of property, and we could meet in this place without people knowing that we were there, because we could go inside these different formations of rocks. This one where I'm sitting in now is kind of like the largest, and that there's a little clearing, but there's also little paths that go through it, into little openings, and you can climb up on the rocks. And so we could have privacy there because people couldn't see you unless they kind of went into these rock area themselves. And I wasn't supposed to be seen with him, to know that we were together. So it was a place for us to hide.
And why were you not supposed to be seen with him?
Because he was the help. He was a cowboy, and he took care of my father's horses, and sometimes working with the cattle and things. But yeah, he was like a hired hand and not someone that we were supposed to be associating with. And certainly not someone I should be alone with.
Very good. Now tell me more about this life. Who were you in this life?
My father was a rancher, and he raised horses. In many ways, it was a good life, a comfortable life, but in many ways, not comfortable.
Good. So let's learn a little more about this life. Let's move to another important scene in that life that has information for you. We're moving to another important scene that has information for you. Be there now, trust your first impressions, and tell me what is happening. Where are you?
I'm still at that place. And I'm meeting him again. His name is Keith. And it's a bittersweet memory because I know that he's going to ask me to marry him. And I kind of have told him in some ways that I would be open to this and to going away with him. But I'm afraid to do that. And so he does ask me to marry him. And he's done a lot of nice things for me, like he's dressed up, and I know how much he loves me. But I tell him that I can't marry him.
Tell me what happens next.
We get into an argument about it. And I run away and I head back towards my house. But I don't go right back home because I'm upset and I have to pull myself together. So I just kind of go on the other side of the lake and cry for a while.
And how did it make you feel when you said no to him?
It broke my heart.
So let's take a deep breath and release this energy and that pain that you're holding. Let it go. This is just a past memory, and there's no need to hold on to that anymore. Release that energy from the past. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for what you've done to him and to yourself. See that energy leaving your body. Now let's learn a little more. Close that scene and let's move to another important scene from that life that has information for you.
I'm having a baby. I'm scared, but I'm excited. It's painful, but I have people around me, women that are helping me. And I almost don't mind the pain because I feel like it's like I deserve it, or it's almost like an external representation of what I feel inside. And I have the baby, and it's a little boy.
Why do you think that you deserve that pain?
Because that baby doesn't belong to my husband. It belongs to Keith. So I feel like a liar. I feel happy to have him because I feel like it's a part of my love that I can keep. And yet it feels dirty and dishonest at the same time.
Does Keith know that it's his baby?
I didn't tell him that it was, but I think he knows anyways.
Very good. Now let's close that scene. Take a deep breath and let it go. Now let's move to the very last moments of that life. You do not have to experience anything painful. You see it as an observer if you would like. We're moving to the very last moments of that life. Be there now and tell me what you see.
I see myself lying on the bed in the same room where I had my baby, and I'm old, and my son is there with me.
Very good. Take the very last breath of that lifetime and transition out of the body. You're now outside of the body. From this perspective, you can understand the deeper meaning and purpose of that life. What was the meaning and purpose of that life?
I was learning about not being true to myself and doing what other people wanted me to do instead of doing what I wanted to do. But there was also a part of me that was also afraid. Like I couldn't just blame it on other people, but the fear was also inside of myself for some reason, to be different.
Very good. Now that you have left that life, you can release any energy that does not serve you anymore. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, any negativity from these experiences will be released from your soul. You do not have to carry it any longer. You can let it go.
So there's sand. There's sand under me, and I'm sitting by a river, and I can see the sun over me. Same blue skies I saw before. But on the other side of me, I see temples. Just kind of sitting here, lounging, enjoying the sun. I like to be out in the sun.
Tell me more about those temples. How do they look like?
And they're made out of some kind of stone. They're kind of grayish. And they're very big, and there's very big pillars. The pillars are kind of funny. They have an odd formation. They look like some kind of people or have faces on them or something. There's some stairs leading up to a kind of platform where the temple starts. And there's outdoor areas and indoor areas. There's like open walkways and around it and through different sections of it. But you can then go in through these doors into little chambers. I can see the pyramids in the distance, so I know that I'm in Egypt, but the pyramids are far away. Like I can see them, but they look small. So I'm in a different part of the town. The outskirts of town, I don't really see anything around but this temple. And there's some people around it, but not a lot. There are other people that work in the temple like I do.
Tell me more about the work you do in that temple.
Okay, I'm going to go over there. So I'm doing training work, and I take lessons in the temple. I also look out for a certain chamber in the temple, and I care for it. There's a statue in the temple, and the statue is Sekhmet. And so this is, I am one of the priestess that take care of this chamber, and we keep it clean, and we offer prayers, and we bring offerings of food and water and other things, depending. Sometimes people bring offerings of gold, of different vessels, or different types of stones and gems, or even sometimes herbs or flowers. It changes, but we bring her food and water every day, and we offer prayers. We offer prayers many times a day, but we come in here and offer special prayers to Sekhmet 3 times a day, because it's our role to keep the goddess happy and to know that her people cherish her.
Is that her temple then?
Yes, it is her area within the temple. And in the other chambers, there are temples to other gods and goddesses.
Now look around you and tell me what you see around you. How does that chamber look like besides the statue of Sekhmet?
The walls are like a marble, creamy colored marble. And in the middle, but a bit towards the back, is this really massive statue of Sekhmet. It's like 3 times taller than me. And it looks like a woman, but it has a lion head on it. And then on the floor, there's like a very low altar where we put the offerings to her. It's not even like a table, it's less than that, because we kneel down on the ground when we make the offering there, and when we pray there. There's a wide, like a big, tall kind of doorway. It has a type of door on it, but the door is usually open unless there's a storm or something, and we're trying to protect the things that are inside. But even though I'm one of the people assigned to this temple and making offerings to her, other people can go into the temple to her and say their own prayers. But mostly it is only priests and priestesses that come here, and sometimes government officials or the pharaohs and their family that come here inside. The common people don't really come inside this temple. They can see it from the outside, but it's a very sacred place. And we try to keep it quiet and peaceful and protected from people seeing what we do inside. The rituals, the training that we do inside is meant to be kept secret to those who are initiated into it.
Now, you mentioned that you were doing training in the temple and having lessons. Can you tell us more about the training that you're doing?
Yes. I came to the temple when I was 12 years old, and I was chosen out of many, many children that wanted to be initiated into these arts. So I was very excited to be chosen, and we started off doing simple things, practicing reading and writing, being able to make scrolls, learning about the tools that we would use. There are different people that teach us these different things. Like they specialize in certain areas. And then as you advance, you go on to more and more things. You have to learn all about the gods and goddesses and be able to connect with them, directly. They bring guidance and they tell you how to care for them. And then things get more challenging as you go on. And like learning how to not speak for long periods of time, and learning how to be in isolation for periods of time, learning how to go within, mastering the body, mastering being able to leave the body, being able to travel anywhere, learning the secrets and keeping the secrets. And one day I will also teach people these things.
And how do they choose which children are going to be accepted into those trainings?
The priests know. The priests know by looking at you. They can see your energy. They see things in your energy that tell them that you are the one.
And how old are you there now?
I'm 15.
Very good. Now look down and tell me if you can see your feet.
Yes.
Very good. Tell me what your feet look like.
They are small and dainty, and I have on sandals that have gold. They're like gold, I don't want to say ties, but gold straps.
So let's move up the body and tell me what the rest of your body looks like and what you're wearing.
Wearing a white dress. I think it's like linen or cotton. And it goes about from my ankles up. It's sleeveless. It's simple. And I have on a belt. It's like a gold leather belt. And I have on bracelets. And that is all.
Anything special about those bracelets? Do they have any meaning?
I'm trying to tune into the meaning. They're gold. Most of them are thin and they have different kinds of stones in them. My favorite one has a pinkish color stone in it. It looks more like, it's like milky rather than like a clear stone. And I feel like we get bracelets when we achieve a certain task or we finish a certain course of study, and we are given a bracelet to show what levels we are on.
Very good. Are you wearing any necklaces or any other jewelry?
No, I don't think I have a necklace on. My hair is up. I have long black curly hair and I wear it up, but I don't feel anything on my head.
Now tell me more about other chambers in this temple. What other chambers represent?
The central chambers are to Isis and Osiris, but the head priests and priestesses take care of that, of the chambers where those statues are, and make those offerings. And there are other chambers. There's a chamber for Anubis and a chamber for Ta, a chamber for Horus.
And how do you connect with Sekhmet to receive those messages?
I get downloads. She can tell us all kinds of things. Sometimes she tells us if there's a storm coming. Sometimes she tells us about political figures, battles, our enemies. In some ways, she watches over us. But all the gods and goddesses that we work with give messages to those of us that work in the temples.
So see yourself standing in one of those chambers and connect to any of those gods or goddesses that you're working with. Do any of them have any messages for Marla or for the collective right now?
Connecting with the temple of Sekhmet, because Sekhmet has messages. Sekhmet wants to integrate with me and with all people at this time, because she carries strength and power and fierceness. She carries the energy of the lion and the energy of Lyra. And she wants to strengthen her children for the coming times. that we may be strong in our power and in our purpose, know our truth in our minds, and to be unwavering in our commitment to this ascension process and to shifting the vibrations of the planet, to not be overpowered by this seeming darkness and the challenges and the negativity, but to know our power and fierceness that we all carry in her vibration. We can overcome any challenge. We need only look inside of us to connect with who we are and our truth, and let the illusions fall away from there. And it is all an illusion. The darkness, the challenges are only initiation processes for us to push us to go further, to move beyond and fully into the light.
Thank you very much for this beautiful message. Can you tell us more about the skills that people are learning in the temples about astral travel and leaving the body and teleportation?
Yes. One of the challenges that I had to go through is I got locked in. And got locked in a sarcophagus. And they closed it on top of me and I could not get out. And it was very scary at first because I couldn't move. I couldn't really stretch my arms or my legs. And I had to remember what I was taught, and to not panic, to not be afraid that that box was just an illusion. It was just a prison that encased my body, but it did not encase my spirit. And I could free myself whenever I chose. So when I was able to get myself calm, I rose up out of my body and out of the box. And it was like I still had my body, even though it wasn't there. I guess it was my light body. And I was free and I could move around and go about my day or go anywhere that I chose to go. Because the body need not hold us down. But as humans, we can become afraid of leaving the body. We can fear that we won't find our way back, or that to leave our body might bring death. But that is not so. In some ways, the body holds us back as a prison that we need not be limited by. But we have to overcome the fear of leaving it. Once I mastered the skill, once I was able to stay in there for a certain amount of time without panicking or being afraid or even feeling like I was held there, because I was not. I was out at other places. And then it was open, and I was done with that initiation. I had learned how to travel without my body.
Is this one of the skills Marla is mastering in her current life right now?
It's a skill that she has pretty much mastered. And she can leave her body and does so at times, but she does not do it as often as she could. There are times when she might connect with different places around the world in a different vibration. She doesn't not have to go to these places physically to actually be there. And she has done this before, but it might suit her to practice it more and to go to more places and different places, because she tends to go to the same places over and over again because she's used to it and she gets attached to certain places. But to expand the areas would help her expand into new levels of consciousness, because she would be seeing, viewing, connecting with places that she has not been before. And so in that way, she would have to step out of the comfort of what she's used to seeing and going to.
Can you tell us more what Marla is doing with grid work? She seems to be traveling to the places, historic places, and bringing the freedom codes to those places. And also those places seem to be where she had a past life in. Can you tell us more about this?
Yes, when she came in as a soul, she was downloaded with many lifetimes that connect to historic places. And in that sense, we leave her breadcrumbs of understanding to have her connect with these places and travel there. And then once she gets there, she knows what she needs to do as far as the grid work that she's doing. There's many different functions of the grid work. And so some of these, because these connect to past lives, there is benefit to her as far as clearing these past lives. When she goes to these places, she downloads codes within herself that have been left there for her to push her to the next level. And these are in exchange for the work that she does for the purpose of the ascension. And by traveling there and the work that she does is opening her energy field up, has a bridge between the different dimensions, and allowing beings of light to work through her, has the bridge so that we can work in the lower dimensions, doing anything that needs to be done there, whether it's clearing energy, activations, bringing in codes, healing aspects of the grid. It is open because Marla is simply a grid for us, but we need the connection between the different dimensions. And so the grid work is a balance for her of giving and receiving. The freedom codes are very personal to her as a soul, because her soul frequency has been attuned to the frequency of the United States, and she has had many past lives in the United States, has all different types of energy throughout different time periods. And so it's natural to be drawn to these places, to do the work, and to help create the shifts that are happening for the whole planet, but are very much congregated on the energy of the United States at this point in time.
And who are we speaking with right now? Is that the Egyptian higher self?
Yes.
Thank you. Can I ask some questions that Marla had?
Yes.
She seems to be having many things on her plate right now that she is interested in, and she feels like she's being pulled into different directions. So she was wondering if you could give her some advice, what she could concentrate on right now that is for her highest good at this moment.
The reason she is being pulled to so many things is because she is trying to develop many different skill levels all at one time. Some of these are just extensions of skill levels that she already knows, and she's just fine-tuning them a little bit, and some are new skills that she is bringing in. And we want her to be in her joy. This is the most important thing right now for her and for many people at this time, is to be in the things that bring you joy, because that can neutralize more of the negative energies or the lower vibrations that want to infiltrate your energy fields. And so it's okay to go from one thing to another thing, as long as we are in this vibration of joy. And she should know that whatever she's doing, whatever she's working on, she's developing more and more skills. And she's seeing more clearly how these skills fit with each other like pieces of a puzzle. And she has not witnessed the full unveiling yet, because we do not like to go too far into the future. But at the right moment and in the right time, all of these skills will come together and be everything that she needs.
Very good, thank you. And how can she best serve right now? Meaning serve in the best ways that she can.
As we have said, being in joy is very important. For the next several years and beyond, for one should always be in their joy. But what we refer to is the changes happening on the planet. And as people go through the change, it will unleash fear and anger and negative energy that simply has to be transmuted from their energy fields. And so one of the best things for all light workers to do is maintain a sense of joy to help them stay above anything that might be going on in the lower frequencies as the changes are made. So that's very important in following, if need be, what one feels from day to day or moment to moment of what brings joy. For one day, walking in nature might bring joy. The next day, painting might bring joy. Whatever it is, just express, because at this point in time, you are all learning and being guided to express your creativity as a way for you to bridge that which you experience in your minds and that which you want to create in the world, both individually and collectively. So this joy and expression is very important. Very often, Marla gets joy from doing the work that she's doing and bringing messages and creating videos and studying the astrology of different things. And she should share that when she feels guided to not be afraid to share those things, and to not even question those things that she shares. Because the things that she shares is about her more than it is anything else. So that is an important part of her mission as well. But she should do it when it feels good and when it brings joy. And if it's not bringing joy, then it's not the right thing. It's not the right vibration. And she can allow that to pass.
Thank you. Now, she mentioned that she had a life in Egypt with her twin. That's kind of the core past life for their relationship and the things that are being reflected in the current life. Did she fully release that life, or is there more work that she needs to do on that?
She has released what she needs to release at this time. The life that we were just discussing was that lifetime that she had with her twin. That lifetime is important because there are skills and knowledge that she learned there that's core to her mission and her mission with her twin in this lifetime. So there will be more to come and more to clear.
And can you share more about the mission of them together in this current life? What are they here to do as a couple?
They are here to help guide people, of course, to help awaken people. But some of their core mission revolves around the energy of the United States. As we said, they both have very strong frequencies and past lives connected to the energy of the USA for a purpose, because they are here to help bring in the changes around society, around the political system, around the programming, to help shift people's consciousness into more freedom and feeling more empowered. And this energy will go around the world. But some of the first stages of that energy will happen here in this country. But this is something that they know and something that they have done over many lifetimes, combining spiritual energy and understanding with political systems.
Very good. Now let's learn a little more about the Egyptian lives that she had with her twin. Let's move to an important scene in that life that has information for you. We're moving to another important scene that has information for you. Be there now and tell me what is happening.
It's our matching ceremony. It's kind of like a marriage ceremony, but it's not an actual marriage. But the priests know. And I told you they know who to pick, who is the right person to be chosen. And the priests also know who your partner is, who your soulmate is. And they choose both of you for training. And then when you reach a certain level, they connect you together. And you begin your training as a team.
Can you share more what that training is like for the masculine during those time periods, like you've shared about the training you went through?
Yes, it's very similar to what I went through. For example, the masculine is also assigned to a temple. He does not work with me in the same temple at this period of time, though. And they also go through initiation processes similar to the initiation process that I went through, being locked in the coffin. My partner went through a similar challenge to overcome his fear. And we did this simultaneously. And his initiation was to swim underwater through a very long tunnel. And so it was his job in his own way to disconnect with himself, to disconnect from his body in a way, and disconnect with his fears so that he did not become afraid and did not panic while he was underwater and not able to breathe.
Very good. Now let's go back to the scene when you were first matched and when you saw him for the first time. Be there now and tell me what you're seeing and feeling.
I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I already knew that they were going to choose him because I could tell. We knew each other. We know each other because even though we don't always have classes together, because sometimes the boys learn different things than the girls, we do also have classes together. And so I knew in my heart that it was going to be him. And I think him quite handsome.
And what did you call him in this life?
Armusha.
So tell me more about the training you went together as a couple.
Much of the training that we go through as a couple has to do with creating balance within the energies. One of the things that we did that you asked about, the difference between the men and the women, is as women, we very often focused on the goddess energy, and the men focused on the God energy primarily, although we do connect with the gods as well. And we do know about the gods and understand the gods. But as we learn and grow in that energy of the feminine and masculine, when we come together, we integrate the opposite through our partner. So my twin integrates the goddess energy via my energy, and I integrate the God energy via him. And so we have this combined knowledge that we can then share and access through each other without ever even having to learn it. But it does require balance and learning how to be kind to each other and considerate of each other at all times, and very much understanding how energy fields work. Because as you develop as priests and priestesses, your energy fields grow very strong and contain a lot of power. And you want to remain in a place of love and compassion when exercising such strong energy fields. And they also learn about the sacred sexual energies and how to manifest and create through the powers of sex and blending and combining energy fields.
And this is what was taught, I believe, in the Temple of Isis and Mary
Yeah.
Magdalene.
Yes.
So Marla and her twin in the current life, they're basically undergoing through the same process as you just described, right?
Yes. They already have the knowledge about how to do it. And they even do it now, even though they are not in physical union. It does not matter because they can merge their energy fields whenever they desire to do so.
Very good. Now close that scene. Let's move to another important scene in that life that has information for you. We're moving to another important scene that has information for you. Be there now and tell me what is happening.
We are being moved up. We are becoming the head priest and priestess for the temple. So there is a ceremony and a banquet of sorts to celebrate.
And what do they call you in that lifetime as a priestess?
They call me Tanaya.
Now let's move to the very last moments of that life. You do not have to experience anything painful. You see it as an observer if you would like. We're moving to the very last moments of that life. Be there now and tell me what you see.
I'm being held captive There are people that have kidnapped me, and they have killed Marmusha, and they are trying to get secrets from me, secrets on magic. And I cannot give them the information. I will not give them the information. I see a knife, and I grab the knife, and I use it to cut my own tongue off so I cannot speak. And then they get angry and they stab me with a sword.
And who were those people that tried to get the information from you?
They were people that are trying to do bad. They're trying to influence the Pharaoh to do things that he should not do. And we advise him to do otherwise, as the gods and goddesses tell us. And the Pharaoh listens to us. But these people are angry because of that. And they want to control him. So they wanted us out of the way.
Take the very last breath of that lifetime and transition out of the body. You're now outside of the body. From this perspective, you can understand the deeper meaning and purpose of that life.
Well, there was a lot of purpose to that life. Obviously, there are a lot of skills that we learned during that life, skills that set us up for all our other lifetimes, skills to believe in ourselves, skills to be very empowered, to recognize the power that we can hold when we carry such strong spiritual wisdom, and to use that wisdom wisely and for right purpose. And there were times in that life where we didn't mean to do bad, but we tried to control too much, and that likely led to our downfall. And so we need to be mindful of not controlling things, outcomes of things, but allowing things to unfold as they should, even if it means negativity. Much like the energy that we find ourselves in now, a time of transition where things may seem dark and bleak and full of hopelessness, but to interfere with those things is self-serving and not serving to the grand scheme of things, even when we mean to do well and good within our hearts. For everything has purpose. The so-called dark and the light, the negative and the positive, the challenges, the pain, and the releasing all serve a purpose that cannot be bypassed, even under the most loving and compassionate circumstances. For to do so interferes with not only the plan, but other people's karma and their life lessons. So to release, to allow, and to accept. And as we talked about with Marla's previous life, where she did not follow through on her heart, where she was too fearful to do what she truly wanted to do and what would have made her happy. In that life, she was able to follow her joy and her happiness. And through that, she became stronger and more empowered and wiser as a soul.
May I speak to Marla's higher self now?
Yes.
Thank you so much for working with us today. I would like to take some time to ask some questions. Is that appropriate?
Yes.
Thank you. How does the Egyptian life relate to Marla's life now?
She's going to be using a lot of the skills that she used in that lifetime, a lot of knowledge of astrology, knowledge of sacred union, knowledge of overcoming fears, and being able to connect with her higher self and other interdimensional beings. Also, the political piece is important because, as we have said, she's going to be doing some political work here now with her twin. And she needs to keep in mind what happened in that lifetime as part of the political trials and tribulations that she experienced. As we said, not interfering with other people's journeys or energies. All they have to do is bring their own wisdom and their own energy, their truth, who they are. That is the most important change bringer.
And then I know Marla has the freedom codes for those historic places, and she and her twin, as you mentioned, are supposed to work together, specifically with the energy of the United States and doing the great work here. Why was Marla chosen to bring those freedom codes? Is that something her soul chose for this lifetime? Or is it because she's had the past lives and it's all connected? Why does she have that mission with her twin specifically in this lifetime?
She has that purpose, along with many people that are also doing similar work. This mission started before she chose her incarnations. So, before any of her past lives happened, she and her twin knew that this role would be taken on, that they would work for the ascension of planet Earth, and indeed they have worked on ascension of other planets. And so the past lives that were chosen were past lives specifically to enact within her and within her twin the necessary DNA structuring and code information. So one begets the other one, meaning this point was the first point, and the other lifetimes During the American Revolution, the timelines has Native Americans. The timelines has pilgrims, has explorers even. And throughout all of the different wars, and she will begin working on other wars, other war areas soon. That is to give her the right vibrations and frequencies to do this work. And it corresponds with the love that she has of, for example, history. And there are other people bringing in freedom codes as well. And they do it in a different style, in a different way, because they have different passions and different roles and different jobs. But the codes that Marla brings in is very much connected to her passion for the history of this country. And they will all fit together, as we said, like pieces of a puzzle. As we move through our incarnation, and we should say incarnations, we pick up these different loves, these different passions, and we can't really see how they connect. But at a future point on the timeline, all of these things will intersect and connect and make sense.
Very good. Thank you. Is there anything else that wants to be shared for Marla that we did not get to discuss today?
We would only tell her to have faith, to be happy, to let go of worry, not to attach too much to anything seeming outside of herself right now, but to focus on the inner world and know that everything is unfolding perfectly. She's doing perfectly. Her twin is doing perfectly. And just be excited for the future.
Are there any messages to share for the collective?
Much like we have already said to her, we would only say to the collective not to fall back into patterns of fear. There are many that are awakening and they are just learning how to release their fear, but there are also many that have been on the spiritual path for many years. And it's important for them as we go into the shift not to fall back into their fears. There has been many triggers this year, and there will be many more triggers coming, not only this year, but next year as well and beyond. Do not attach to the triggers, much like when a person awakens and they experience these personal triggers that helps them heal and move forward. Society as a whole must also experience these triggers in order to see their blind spots, heal their wounds, and move forward into a lighter state of peace and unity. So, just as we say to an individual who's going through a dark night of the soul or a very trying time, it's best not to attach a lot of meaning to that energy because it's just a passing phase. You go through a time of releasing, and that's followed by a time of rebirth and a time of creating and bringing in the new. And that's followed by a time of death and releasing, and so on and so forth. It's just an initiation process to help you grow and to help you expand. But have trust and faith in the higher powers that all is well and that no real harm can come that has not already been agreed to by those souls that have chosen to go through those life lessons. So do not attach to the pain of the old, but look to the sun rise, the new beginnings, the new energy that is open and paving a way for all of you to things that you cannot even dream possible at this time. So be light, be happy, hold compassion, but do not get weighed down by the pain and fear. We are grateful to all of you and send you so much love and blessings.
Thank you very much for such a beautiful message.